So, Masters Toronto has now started, and we're starting to see the first couple sunsets and what these tier 1 teams are actually doing on the map now that it is back. And unfortunately, I got bad news, because I think most teams are going to play it pretty boring. You're going to see a lot of this, like what MIBR are playing here. This might be a KO instead of a breach, but other than that, I think you are going to see a lot of Neon. You're going to see a lot of Sober, probably a lot of Cypher, a lot of Omen, a lot of normal stuff, right? This is probably the direction that I think a lot of teams are going to go. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to be on this map. But we did see that yesterday Gen.G were playing something a little bit different, something a little bit creative, right? They are also still playing Neon, they're also playing Sober, and they're also playing Omen. So that's still the same. But instead of a Cypher, they actually went for a Deadlock, which, you know, is something that I talked about. Hey, maybe we'll see some Deadlock. Well, here's some Deadlock. And we're also playing Viper. Now, Viper, of course, you know, back in like 2023, when this map was first coming out, you might remember you saw a lot of Viper on Sunset, because Viper was basically, you know, ridiculously OP at that point. So, of course, you did. But bringing it back, I thought was quite interesting. And some of the ways that Gen.G found value from this Deadlock plus Viper together, particularly over towards this B side, was really, really impressive. And it starts here with the first pistol round, where we see MIBR try to go over towards B and do a B split, and it goes pretty badly.
It is certainly going to deliver. Let's go ahead and jump right into the pistol. Outboss taking a tad bit of damage here in mid, just a straight shot through the smoke. Finds him down to 75 HP.
Gotta go.
Trying to find a way in through the market. They're going to be given access to the Deadlock util there, blocking off the front of that site.
Headshot. Connecting there onto Verno. Ash with the cleanup, able to find Sheriff in hand. Outboss again taking damage, just eating it here on the entry. Does manage to crouch down, stays hidden for the moment. Foxy 9 finding Cortizia, however, at the same time, and now Gentleman's going to be eliminated. Outboss will fall. It's going to be Artsy to try to clutch this out. Finds the first, cannot quite get that transfer. Gen.G.
So this is just a really nicely crafted round from Gen.G, basically from start to finish, right? They seem very well prepared for this potential round to come in here, right? They got the triple stack here at the top of mid, so they're looking to, you know, just fight anyone in mid that comes there. Okay, they get smoked off, and you see that, you know, they start drifting towards B. They probably perhaps already have the idea of, you know, what is about to happen, but actually they stay, right? They stick with this kind of plan of we're gonna kind of flood back through mid as we see as this smoke drops, and then we're gonna just punish them. And they do an incredible job of it because they can trust that the Deadlock can hold down this site. I mean, this wall on a pistol round, yeah, that's gonna take you a while to destroy, right? So these guys, they're a non-factor, they're not a threat. Foxy 9 still has this to play off. He still has a Gravnet to potentially stop anyone coming in as well, right? So it's just really well crafted. Even little details like that, right? A Foxy 9 is going to buy full util, right? So he's used his wall. He's got a Gravnet, as you can see there. He's got both sensors. So he's gone full util, just a classic. And that means that these guys know that, okay, he can hold this down for a while, right? Like, especially on a pistol round, like, these guys are going to take ages to destroy that. So he's going to be okay for a while, giving them time to then say, like, okay, well, we can just fully punish anyone in mid, which, of course, they do a terrific job of here on Verno with texture. You know, Verno has essentially no choice with 3 people running at him there, but he's not expecting that many people to be there. And this is the thing, right? This delay is so good from the Deadlock that, you know, this smoke has faded. We've now completely re-cleared mid. We're not even on the site. You know, they haven't touched the site just yet, right? They're about to touch the site for the first time, right? That's how crazy this kind of stall can be from a Deadlock on a pistol round, you know. And then we see the stun also come into fruition, and now we're flooding back in, right? I mean, the spike's nowhere near going down. Foxy gets a kill. We flood in here. It's just really well crafted, really well played by Gen.G, right? In terms of the initial planning, the understanding of, you know, what they were going to do in the round, how that round was going to play out if a B split came in, and basically perfectly executing off the back of that. Okay, now let's come to round number 3. Now, unfortunately, we are starting a couple seconds in the round because that's when they cut to it on broadcast, and we're going to see a fast B play here from MIBR with the stun, with the Neon running. Here we go, stun, Neon, run, Aspas, go in! Aspas die. Oh, no, not what we like to see. Foxy 9 through the smoke there. But the thing is, let's talk about this Viper wall, because this Viper wall can be a bit of a pain. Not only does it get you one-tapped by a Bulldog there, because you're taking the decay, it also, you have to cross it 3 times to get to the B site, right? Not ideal. And in theory, they could be behind, you know, this wall at any point. So, you know, not an ideal situation to try and get past this Viper wall. And it also, well, they've got the Deadlock Viper here. it allows them to escape out of this, right? So they get that kill, but now you get Gravnet, the wall is up. So even though you're getting darted, there is no trade. There is no trade. You're just getting, you know, nothing from it. And now we put the Deadlock wall up behind it, and it's just like, oh, unlucky, right? But now let's talk about Karen, because here's the other part I want to talk about with this Viper, right? It's not just that you have the Viper wall here. Imagine you're playing solo Omen here on your own, no other smokes. If you saw Neon running here with Breach done, you would probably think like, oh, I need to smoke over here, right? But because we're playing Viper as well, and we got this wall, I don't need to smoke over there. So that means that I can just solely focus on just having this one way, constantly refreshing it, right? And you're going to see he refreshes it the first time there. He's going to refresh it a second time. And just be on this angle, just doing his own little thing, you know, not worrying about anything else, right? And if we look at the map right now, right, as he's going to refresh this one way again, right? So there's the one way for the third time. Imagine if you were like a Cypher just sitting here watching that, you'd be like, Jesus. But what that means is, you know, they have very good control of A. The Deadlock wall is up here on B. They've shut the door just here. They got a sensor behind that. It essentially means that if MIBR are going to walk anywhere, you know, and try and explore the map, you know, and not make any noise doing it, there's only one place they can do it, and it's up at the top of mid. And Ash is watching that, and he's more than ready for it, as you're about to see.
To open things up. Now, this is good work by MIBR to open up mid. Just got Ash here watching it right now.
Hold it back is Ash. Okay, welcome to the global stage. Finds himself 2 quick kills. Verno going to be eliminated.
So as we can see, MIBR, they were struggling a little bit coming over towards this B site early in the round. So what did they go for? Well, they decided, okay, they're playing Deadlock Viper here over towards B, and they're giving us some headaches, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go and overwhelm them by going for a triple beat split, right? So we're going to go boom, boom, and Aspesh, you're going to go boom. And they're not going to be able to handle all that, right, guys? Well, unfortunately, for MIBR, as we can see, they decided to change it up a bit, Gen.G, off the timeout, where they had 3 players over here towards B. They've swapped to where the Deadlock is as well, over towards A. And so now you're going to see, because they've changed it up, again, for MIBR, it's not going to go so well.
They started to lose to teams in Pacific. So going back with a very different comp, though, a very different look than what we saw last year.
And that was one of the things, is that inflexibility from Gen.G, saying, no, we think this is still good enough, not really being willing to make pivots in the compositions. That has changed.
I mean, the only thing you're keeping is the Sova and the Omen, so that's really impressive that they've been this well prepared.
Big reveal on the Munchkin. He's able to strafe back. Caron dropping down off the top here, and Market re-swings the corner. Then I'm going to be taken down. Texture, second kill. Bethesda hits the floor. The operator singing out here for Gen.G in the timeout.
So yeah, that did not go so well for MIBR. And if we take a look at how it actually plays out here, I mean, you're still getting the one way, you're getting a dart out here and an early Gravnet from Foxy as well, right? So they're taking that control of A early towards early in the round, right? And now you're seeing that they're set up here, you know, they're set up in decent spots. They got the up over here towards B, and now in come MIBR, right? So MIBR, they go Neon Wall. The dart actually hits Munchkin, which is a bit unfortunate. The Omen flash here, and they're trying to get Aspas here. The problem is the delay, and again, you're seeing kind of the strength of Viper here, where maybe if this was other agents, you know, you wouldn't be able to. But Munchkin's going to put down a Snakebite here. It's a good reaction by Karen. He's also going to Omen flash here. And this is the problem, right? That sometimes when you do this, if your Neon misses kind of this timing to put pressure this way, you'll see that it allows these guys, you know, initially they're like, whoa, oh my god. But then Aspas, because he gets delayed, kind of just drifts up here and just kind of stops. And that means that, you know, for these guys here and Karen and Texture, well, Texture just goes, okay, I'll come back here. And Karen goes, okay, I'll focus back on this. And we'll just have one guy focusing on each way because they kind of miss that timing. So you'll see it now where we're going to get the Omen Flash from Karen coming in just here. Munchkin's going to Snakebite. You see the Texture is now also, you know, running this way, right? So now the focus from these guys is all boom, 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 which is what you want, right? And now these guys can come forward. Well, the problem is they're still staring at a Viper wall, right? So that's, you know, they're still a bit unsure of exactly what's going on. You got the Snakebite at the feet just here. So, you know, Aspas doesn't want to just, you know, run in here through a Snakebite because then he's vulnerable and he's just going to die. He's also trying to avoid this Omen Flash here. So the response is really good by Gen.G. But now he just kind of drifts up here, right? And now you'll see that, okay, Texture's like, okay, we dealt with that. I can now come back here, and these guys aren't past this wall yet, right? We're going to get the Viper Orb coming up here, which makes it tough for these guys to come through. So you see the value that kind of the Viper provided here in this round, where it just made it very hard for MIBR to go anywhere. And like, just because they got that little bit of stall, right? They just gave that little bit of extra time for everyone. to kind of get into position. That's all Gen.G needed to then go back to their posts and just completely destroy MIBR. And then finally, if we come to round number 12, we get a bit of a different setup here from Gen.G, where they actually go for this Viper wall across here, which again is a good Viper wall, right? Blocks off both sides of mid, blocks off some of B main, allows you to potentially rotate across here with the wall up as well. But this is a Viper ult setup, right? So every other round, Viper was, you know, starting over towards B. This one a bit different because they want to go for a Viper ult. They recall this Sonic sensor. They're going to put it down just here. They got the one-way up. They sent a Gravnet out. And now we're set up and they're going to do a Viper's Pit here on A. But actually what MIBR are going to do is they're going to kind of like threaten that they're doing this triple B split again, but then actually come back and do a normal B split without that, you know, so they're trying to like hold this guy, you know, hoping that he'll stay looking this way. So you see the flash go in just there, and now, you know, they're going to smoke back here as well. The problem that they're going to have, though, as you're about to see, is Texture, instead of, you know, worrying about that this time, because again, he's got 3 people here in a Viper wall, right? So he doesn't feel, you know, so threatened, and this dart isn't going to actually see anyone running up this way, and Foxy9 doesn't see anyone running up this way. So they know that, okay, that actually isn't the pressure. And so instead, he's just going to fully focus on this. He's going to go crazy. And then they just absolutely shut this down between Ash and Texture, as you see. And Gen.G absolutely destroyed MIBR. You know, with playing this Viper Deadlock, a bit different. MIBR seemed slow to adapt to it. And they got destroyed.
At all. We'll just go ahead and try to lock down any access towards this A side. Texture playing forward, finding one. The breach now eliminated. The re-push. And, ooh, he is playing on a knife's edge. Karen at the same time going to be picked off. They now know that Market is at risk. Just for the re-peek. Find Shenum. Texture just single-handedly trying to hold this down, but Ash does get involved. Finding one, finding a second, looking for the third. Runs out of bullets. It's just Cortesia, no corpses to try to play off, to try to get a reveal. Now being hunted here. Just sending the ult, trying to get any kind of stray tag. None to be found there, but Munchkin is slowly approaching around the back. Holding the angle here for the exit. Cortesia can find this.